So,
Good stuff.
so is that dynamism you're talking
Thank
about?
God none of it was recorded. Dynamism happens when you get done the transcendental experience. So the human race is kind of stuck on either being beyond it all or being so engaged that we're going to take over the world. But to kind of keep it in check means that you have this my favorites list that you're listening to and that you're subject to. And that you know that there's certain things that you need to mature inside yourself. And now when you do a class and when you do whatever, you're in this place of dynamic engagement with whatever you're doing. So dynamism happens when you first land. Because if you have a wonderful experience, a game changer moment, a moment that ripples, that's the whole purpose of what we're doing. We're just trying to find moments that ripple, a moment that gets you out of your head and has you experience another chance to pay off a little more on the mortgage on your soul and your bad karma and your confusions and so forth. So you just have one moment. It's wonderful. You define it, you exact it, that bird and that person and that song, and you just keep it evolving. You know that the body's going to get heavier. You know that you're going to experience peace of mind without thought. You know that you're going to smile again. You know that you're going to experience contentment and satiation rather than energy chess. Don't yell. Rather than energy chess. All we do is energy chess with each other because we're scared to death of each other and we don't believe in each other. But the principle is that God is trying to heal you. Life is trying to heal you through your father, through the this, through the that, and you're not listening. So you have to try again and try to understand about it. So gravity and dynamism comes with the greater the experience of transcendentalism, thought, peace of mind, and so forth. And you come down in your body and you land like poof. And when you land, you've got power then to navigate the field. And you also have power to be more compassionate. You also have power to tell the truth that you have distortions, diseases, so forth. Now, this is all Nidan. So Wadan leads to Nidan. Yeah.
Thank you. Does this process in the 10 seconds, it almost seems like a mini version sometimes of what you just described. The other day I was all busy. I walked away into the corner where the trees were and I sat there and I did my 10 seconds. I made sure my feet were lined up. I was aware of my posture for a second and 10 seconds and then poof, everything disappeared. I felt this gravity. I was connected to the earth. I heard the birds, the wind, and all that stress stuff was gone. And then when I walked back, there was all this space. And like, so instead of everything being like, I was like, oh, okay. So is that kind of what the 10s can do? Is like a little version of spaciousness right there. It takes 10 seconds. And then it lasted for about 45 minutes, and then the spaciousness kind of got narrower and then, so I'm just wondering, is that kind of what that's part of? Because it's kind of been new to me. Seems like the more I do the 5s and the 7 steps, then when I do the 10s, I'm like a quick version of almost to like in between 2 and 3, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And all the education results in more naturalness and more freedom. If it doesn't result in more naturalness and more freedom, then you're not following the directions. Now, when you have the experience of conflict and you do a 10 seconds and you get out of it, now that conflict still exists inside you, but it's more subtle. And if you re-engage it by looking inside of your physiology to where it is that now the outside world is starting another cycle of meditation, then you're able to keep dynamism going relationally. Because you're not thinking that, oh, I experienced this wonderful healing. And now I'm going to be on go. I'm going to do it. And really, you want to stay permeable. And so life starts to give you the next cycle of meditation, just like in the first step where you're kind of surrendering to whatever issues are going on. Now life is doing it, and it's talking to the subtle area of what's exposed that got you all mixed up in the first place. And you've got to make a biological map that's very, very clear. And once again, you can't do this unless you feel safe. So you're going to have to be protected. You're going to have to be intervened for. You're going to have to be advocated for. Advocation, Maggie?
Yes, application.
What's advocation mean? Or
To have somebody advocate for you, to allow somebody to advocate for you.
yeah. You ever get in trouble and somebody helped you out, paid your debt, held you, took away your pain, cared about you? Advocate. Now, if you're so in shock about everybody and you don't believe in one person in the entire earth again, then what's going to happen? You're going to get slammed. So that's why I'm talking to you. Because God is everybody wearing a mask, and somehow we've got to find a way to let advocacy happen for us. Because, it's a big team around here. So one human organism is groping to find itself. Where am I? Where am I? But we don't look here. So can you be specific about, some quote that is so beyond you that you can put it on the fridge, and when you read it, it'd be like, oh, I forgot. I mean, I just do that all day, all night. I forgot. Try again. Be receptive. The big problem is resentment and grudges. You have hidden resentments and grudges. And anybody that pops your bubble must be strategized against to not pop your bubble anymore. Right? But there's some people that pop your bubble that are actually going to just love you. And ideally, you can have that that's relationship, isn't it? You're both kind of working with each other's stuff, and you're forgiving each other, and go back and forth. And so how about if you have a wise person? What's this thing called a wise person? Is there a wise person? I hope so, because if not, I'm toastified. I need that. I need somebody more intelligent than me to help me understand, because I don't understand. I don't understand life and things, a lot of things. So if I could feel safe, I could drop the defense mechanism and I could be receptive. Now, this requires slowing down. So you got to keep on making the decision of how that's going to happen with people. And if people in your life and they accomplish it, then you have to keep them in your life. Because somebody like me or me is going to come around and give you one more chance to start this kind of thing. And if you deny it, you're denying where it came from. So you better be careful. Because really what you want to do is energy chest me, right? When am I going to overcome Will and he won't burst my bubble anymore? Good luck. Cuestiones. Remember, three each.
I have one. You mentioned atomic compliance. Can you touch on that? Because I don't really get it.
We were talking last week or somewhere, us and Janice maybe.
Maybe.
And okay, atomic compliance. Atomic compliance.
I thought it was atomic. I wrote down atomic. Atmic. Okay.
What's the Atma, Opinder? Can you give us a thing on what the Atma is? All religion comes from Sanskrit, and the Atma is the key principle in Sanskrit. Do you know? I hope so.
So Atma is the soul.
Yes. Now you get lots of definitions, but let's say the one soul.
The one soul. Yeah.
Now, if you say Atman, then it's the individualized soul. And I've heard it put different ways, but the way I'm using it is there's one soul here.
Ek. In Indian, you say ek, one.
Ek.
Yeah, like ekunkar is a like
Ekunkar.
ekunkar is ek.
Ik.
Ek atma.
Ik
You would
Atma.
say ek atma hagia.
Ek Atma Hagia.
Yeah,
Ek Atma Hagia.
with the head bob.
Atma Hagia. It's okay. It Atma Hagia. Go beyond mind and body. It's no problem for you to go beyond mind and body because you're in mind all the time and you think you need energy. Then you're never beyond mind and body. What is it?
Ek atma hagia. There is one atma.
Ek Atma Hagia. Ek Atma Hagia. Or in Italian, Mafanabalamano Jalamer. No, that's different. Ek Atma Hagia. Do you know what that is, Nicole? Do you ever hear a relative babble those words?
Something similar, yeah.
Ek Atma Hagia es muy importante. Ek Atma Hagia es muy importante para ti por aprender muchísimo healing. Mucho.
Whoever knows how to spell that, can you put it in the chat? I just want to look at the
I'm
word.
getting there, Daniel.
Okay.
Ek Atma Hagia. Atmic compliance. Atmic compliance means, do you have trouble in any relationship? Do you have trouble in any self-image? Do you have trouble in whether you're any trouble? Do you have any trouble at all? Well, become compliant to the Atma. That's kind of the coup de grace of spiritual practice. In the Bible, that's Romans 8:28. Behold, all things work together for the good of those who love God, those who call according to his purpose. You know, the Bible and the religion is just separate from people. They have no access to it because bigger the light, the more the mosquitoes. All religion is surrounded by nutcases, so you don't get the real thing. Or it's a business that is not with compassion and empathy for the individual. But the truth of these things is, oh my God, talk about wonder. Talk about solutions. You want a solution for your mind, for your body. Atmic compliance means I have mommy, daddy, sister, brother. I have Lena community relationships students. I have trips. I have self problems. I have Atmic compliance means I'm not listening, but I'm going to be compliant again. I'm going to be a good little boy, and I'm going to tell the truth that all these things are trying to teach me something. They're trying to actually correct, you could say. You know, there's areas of your psychology that need correction. That means right and wrong. So there's areas of my neurology, my psychology, my behavior that will be healed by the Atma. Yes, Upinder?
I just read that Shantae's in the waiting room, my friend.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Pavanam, Pavanam, Gudantu.
Hi, William. Thank you.
Mon
Thank you for
plaisir,
welcoming
mon
me
ami.
this morning.
No problemo. Enkenkar Om Atman. What is it? Atman. Did she write it down? Well, you know what the idea is. So how do you surrender your mind to the Atma? Wow, that's Atmic compliance. How do you say that word, Upinder? That phrase?
Ek atma hagia. So that is, there is one Atma.
Ek,
I'm
I'll write it in there. Atma.
Just typing
I'm
it in
typing
right
it
now.
in right now.
Oh,
There is one Atma.
well,
I spelled
that's it. That's enlightenment. You want miracles. You want to extricate yourself from the sea of psychic magnetism. That means
I-
what's going on between.
I tried to translate the best I could from Indian to English, so
Ik Atma
Hagia.
Hagia. Ik Atma Hagia. And so think of a poem that I wrote: washing waves, suspended time, soul in shrine, rest your mind. There's more to us in this bag of bones. Aha, you've always known. Happiness does come true. When you're ready, go on to part 2. And then there's a part 2, whatever it is, I don't know. Ik Atma Hagia. The whole thing is what I'm doing now is, I'm dancing back and forth to stop time and traffic. That's a suspended animation place. And that's the place of magic. So how do you have that embodied? How do you have that while you're in relationship, while you're listening and communicating with other people? Because normally what your mind is saying is that I've got to keep holding space and keep analyzing and keep whoever it is. There's nobody you let in, right? But what if that's the solution, which it is? You have to let the other person in. Will it cause you suffering? Oh, yeah. And that suffering is nectar because it makes you find out who you are. Ik Atma Hagia. Atma compliance. Atma compliance. Atma compliance. Atma compliance. The delivery of energy that comes out of a session of Atmic compliance, which I guess is what I try to accomplish, is phenomenal. But how are you going to surrender your defense mechanisms to Ik Atma Hagia? To me, to mommy and daddy, to sister and brother, because that's where your personality is from. The mystical dimension of life is true magic, and you have that true magic within you. But you're going to have to do Ek Atma Hagia to experience it. So take decisive action. My 2 PhD sister told me one time. I don't know what I asked her, something about intelligence or something. Well, what's the best thing you learned or something? And she said, take decisive action. And then I asked her years later, remember when you said to me, take decisive action? She said, I never said that. Get your head out of the book, sister. Ik Atma Hagia. Oh my gosh, you really got me with that one. That's the whole deal. So you have to see inside your mind's eye everything that's going on and find a way to be surrendered to other personalities as your savior. Maggie's going to send me to hell. If you do that, if you actually surrender to God, I mean, what does an enlightened person see? They see God in other people's eyes. Right? Isn't that like normal for an enlightened person? Or let's say you're loving, in a real loving mood. No matter what the other person is doing, don't you see the love and the light inside of them? How about if you're in a bad mood? That's the end of that, right? So you see inside your mind's eye You've got to live third eye open. Can't live third eye open if you're stuck in energy all the time. Energy chest, which we are. No, I'm not going to stop saying it. Sorry. But we can, try again. And you surrender, and now life floods in, and you see vastly. Can you sit here and see the stars and stuff like that? Can you be alone, or must you be on to somebody else or something to get energy and to get? Can you be okay? If you're okay right now, if you're okay, basically okay, then be okay. You're basically okay. You can compare it to suffering and the wars and people dying and stuff. You're basically okay, right? Looking pretty good, huh? All right. Can I get a? All right. Well, then be okay. Don't do anything or go anywhere or be anybody or strategize anything. Just be okay. In that, you will gain the power to change things. That's Ik Atma Hagia. Because you'll see all these people. You see so much with your third eye open. Because you're calm. Because you're, I'm okay. I know that I got plenty to work on, but I'm okay. So now you're not stuck in craving. You're stuck in being submitted. Because that tree and that sunshine and those stars and that relationship that you're afraid about and whatever, it's all trying to love you. It's all trying to heal you. That's the truth. Can you perceive Atma Hagia as a principle? Or can anybody here not perceive that as a principle? Please tell me about it and talk to me. Do you have a conception around it? If it's new to you, I get it, but I want you to please develop that concept because that's your solution. The miracle ingredients are these sites, these people, these places, these trees, these memories, these growing edges. That's the streams of miracles. And they can come into the ears and the eyes and the inner ears and the inner eyes only by finding your body. So alone in the scene in nature, all these streams come in, right? Sense, sight, sounds. What about when you're talking to people? Why can't that happen at the same time? So the miracle chamber is the miracle chamber, meaning a change of atmosphere within and around your body that changes breathing pattern, pulse, hormones, bone marrow production. That's caused by a wonderful moment where you're soaking up the atmosphere, where you're accepting the miracle streams. Every single circumstance of yourself and other people, every imperfection of yourself and other people. Prayerfulness or reverence gives you the permission to do it. So it's just a practice. No matter how good you do it, you still are you with all your messed up stuff. I get that. Too bad for me. Can't change it. I don't have the hope for that. But I do have the hope for enlightenment. I do have the hope for healing. It's a very distant thing, but it's there. But as is right now, me, so you have to express your inner, right, Om Shanti? Where are you? How come we can't see you, huh? How come? How come we can't? Huh?
I'm just not in the most conducive place where there's very much light. And I did just wake up a few minutes ago, but
Check.
I am here.
Check 1, 2. Pravanam Pamarakumar, Kyalabala Pawaka again, Jasu Hiridayaga, Sahim Rama Sarachapada, Hatulita Baladamam, Hey Mashela Badeham, Gunu Charina Krishan, Gyaninana Graganyam, Sakalagunini Danam, Vanaranamadisham, Ragupati Priya Bhaktam, Vatajatam Namam, Goshpati Kritavarisham Mashaki Krita Rakshasam Ramayana Mahamalaradnam Vande Milat Majam Anjananandanam Viram Janaki Shokanashanam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam, surrender. Prapatye, go for refuge. Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapatye. Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapatye. Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapatye. Bolo Bajalang Bari Hanuman Ki Jai. That's like Archangel Michael in Hinduism. You know, Hinduism, that hellbound satanic religion. I just said that for you know who, but I don't want to scare Shanti. Just kidding, man. Just kidding.
Hanumani ki jai.
Yay!
Jai.
Like Archangel Michael. Years ago, when I was 10 times as nuts as I am now, I used to wear the guru clothes and the Hanuman thing, and I was the guy in the kirtan that was like ready to protect the guru. I was Hanumanji. So I know the whole Hanuman Chalisa. What a wonderful thing the Ramayana is. Oh my God, Maggie, you'll never see that. Amazing scriptures, Ramayana. So you've got Ram and Sita. Ram and Sita are the divine couple. And it is mind-blowing. We got to watch more of that, honey. I don't know why we stopped watching it. Ram and Sita go through every kind of circumstance that you can think of in the Ramayana as a man and as a woman. They field every kind of circumstance, and they're so careful and so calm, and they're actually incarnates of God. Rama's like God incarnate, but he pretends that he's not all the time for everybody, so everybody can learn. So when there's a problem, he goes through figuring out the problem as if he had to figure it out. And in the 70s, all of India stopped when the Ramayana was playing. They would put a TV out in the middle of the street for the whole community to come out and watch the Ramayana. What an amazing teacher of psychology and teacher of religious principles. Very wonderful. And that's the Hanuman Chalisa, which is the song to like, it's like Archangel Michael, but it's Hanuman. Hanuman has his chest is ripped open. Pardon me. And he has Ram and Sita in his chest. And he's the protector of Ram and Sita. So he's got the rips, you know. Yeah. All right. Cuestiones. Remember, 3 questions, everyone.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
When you talk about being okay, and it's okay to be, you know, just be okay, and that's surrendering. So when you're not okay, I just let myself not be okay. There's no fixing it, but am I doing that correctly? Because sometimes not being okay, like, you know, me, can roll into maybe depression or whatever, put a label on it. So I've been just allowing myself to not be okay for the day, and then eventually that leads into quietness and meditation, and that's kind of how I get my yuck out. So do you think that's good?
Yeah, you've got, if you're depressed, be depressed. If you're sad, be sad. Don't try to change it.
And not say like, I'm okay. I mean, like, I'm okay, but I'm really not okay today. So I just kind of call it what it is.
Yeah, don't be afraid to say I'm not okay. It leads to being okay more so. You know, in the in-process parts of our psychology and behavior, we're not okay. We have shit about us. That's it. So we're not okay like that. And what can you do? But if you allow it, Lena and I were talking about this the other day. I forget how I said it. She made me write down something, but I don't even know what I said. Honey, can you say what I said with the Carolyn Mace thing? Because I don't know what I said.
I think you said something like if you allowed whatever is happening, like pain and suffering, then is when the purification actually happens, because
Right.
then all this is shaken like in a laundry. So then the purification of this is washed away. I think you said something like that.
You see why I'm in love? I feel better. Okay. Thanks all for coming. We'll see you all later. The master has spoke. Because I don't know what I'm studying, teaching constantly, and I don't know what the heck, but it's so important to get the words right. And that's a nice way. The agitator on the washing machine. So if we don't allow the suffering, then life cannot come in to clean us. But it automatically allows to our consciousness this happiness. So it cycles. You don't get stuck in 1 or 2 or 3 or anything. Every time that you experience these cycles, you take a dip in the flow, dip in magic waters. So if you can really conclude that there's aspects of myself, speaking as yourself, that I don't know how to heal or change. I keep doing it wrong. I mean, if you don't have that as part of, or I don't understand it, or I'm afraid, you know, if you don't have that as part of your conscious psychology, then you're going to be in trouble. So you just have that, and then automatically, as soon as you say, yeah, that's okay, I'm all right being, ain't right. I'm okay with being not okay in that sense. But first you have to be not okay. This starts this generator, this water wheel generator of human transformation, because the miracle ingredients create the miracle chamber. So as soon as you remove the covering and you actually are not okay, you're depressed, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough for some circumstance, whatever, immediately this stuff comes in from the environment. And you become more coherent. You become more energized. The world is going to tell you, skip what I'm saying and go to just, you know, being beyond it all. Don't do that. Just believe me. What can I tell you? I'll give you $5. Oh. So, yeah. Then, you know, you're embraced in love, aren't you? Ek Atman, what's it called? That phrase. You're embraced in love right now, aren't you? Or you aren't? Who's not embraced in love? Give me a no. Are you embraced in love, Nicole? Okay. Adrian? Well, I think so. Pretty much. I mean, I guess, yeah. You really are. To think that you're going to get it right, don't do that. I'm warning you. It's not me warning you. I'm just trying to give you a warning sign, like on a road. You know, like I'm holding up a sign. Don't try that. The Tao Te Ching says that's like you're trying to take the tools of the master carpenter. You're going to hurt yourself. You're not God in the sense of your embodied psychology. That's the matrix stuff. You're in process then. Everybody wants to tell you you're not in process and you're already, that's like Satan teaching. Please pay attention and listen to my warning sign. Hi, Om Shanti. Ethereal girl. So we go from the absolute to the relative. Absolute, relative. And when you get one moment, one amazing moment, and you identify that moment of what would work for you as an individual, and you work with it, and you know the rules of the game, you go beyond thought, the body gets heavy, etc. You're a student. This is what Samadhi is. And you say, oh, I have the teaching of what Samadhi is. The body gets really heavy. I fall in love, become happy. Hormonal nectar happens in my body. I have brainwave coherence. My fatigue is relieved. Start to use your mind, which is like the matrix, to identify the experience that gets you out of the matrix. Now you got it, Andre. So somehow enough explanation from whatever you're deciding to listen to is going to cause that moment. And one moment changes destinies. Then you just, when you meditate, meditation is, prayer leads to meditation. Meditation is time off, but it's embodied time off. Transcendence happens from embodied time off. Transcendence doesn't happen by skipping the body and the mind and going into the ethereal. Okay, and Qigong, embryonic breathing. So then you're back into the same old experience of working on these issues. You didn't repress them. They should be part of your daily life, whatever your genetic issues, your relational issues, your behavioral issues. They got to be part of what you're experiencing every day. Otherwise, how are you going to change? Character, it's all about character and personality. Your character and your personality is set to improve if you receive darshan. What's darshan, Om Shanti? General definition of darshan?
The energetic transmission that you get from receiving the teachings of your guru.
Yes. Yes. Now, in Sanskrit, strictly darshan means the sight of the master. So how can I give you that gift of what that means and what that is? I have to represent that? How the hell am I going to represent that? But if I'm what you got, then you better let me represent it. I'll come through. I'll do it, at least for the time. And then when I close the thing, I'll go back to being more of an idiot. But at least for teaching time, I can do it. You know why? Because it's the whole purpose of my life. Not to be that, to become that, to be healed. I just want to be healed. I just want to be free with suffering, Body, mind. That's really what I want. I said that for a zillion years. And when it comes down to it, that's all I really want. I just want to feel better, feel okay. Everybody's in this same position. So devote your life to it, and you'll find yourself becoming a different person. That's really cool. Because then you can look at yourself and you go, wow, my relationship with my sister is entirely different now. Of course, I'm talking to Danielle, because I'm totally different. I think that's true. Now, if stuff has come up in the last 3 days, see why. I already knew it. You can be really psychic, but you don't want to be that, it just happens. So I know where you're at, Andre. I know what's going through your head in the last month. I love doing that in a coffee shop. Uh-oh, I'm going to get in trouble. I better look at my honey bunny. Oh, see? Okay, I'll try to pretend I'm normal. So, hidden resentment, bitterness. Can't trust anybody. All right. Did anybody make the 3 questions or no? All right.
I have one more. I think I did two already. I had a coach try to teach me inquiry. It took him 8 years. So I still haven't learned yet, but so I was kind of excited to come up with a question. So let's see here. First, I'd like to ask you, share this experience. After the 10 seconds, and there's all this chaos around me with this fair, this little voice has said it's okay to move slow right where you are right now. You're at the right spot. So I was moving super slow and it felt good connected to the earth. And then this quote, which I don't know the exact quote from the Bible about lilies in the field not toiling. This quote just came to me and I was walking and I was like, and I just felt like peace as I'm walking super slow with this quote about the lilies in the field. And then another quote came about birds not worrying about food or something. So I don't know the exact quotes, but it feels like what you're describing where there can be like that aha sort of quote. And so during your talking about these different subjects, the lily of the field one just kept coming up to me it's a step in a direction that creates some kind of space for me. So I just wanted to share, is that something that I really need to expand on and just get that quote and be like, okay, there's no reason to worry. I'm here. This is how I am.
68,000 thoughts we have each day. That's what psychological science says. Sometimes they say 10 to 80,000 thoughts. Okay, so somewhere in there, thousands and thousands of thoughts each day. If you're not very specific and concentrate on a specific thought that can help govern your psychology, you're not going to mature your psychology. Think of how many thoughts you had in the last 60 seconds. I mean, can you imagine how many thoughts? And then thoughts behind that and subconscious thoughts. Consider the lilies of the field, they toil not, or the birds of the air. Don't you know your Father in heaven cares for each one of them? They don't ask, where will I find food today? Or where will I find my clothing? These are the Bible quotes. So the main quote there, the main part, don't you know that God knows that they have those needs, food and clothing? The trust element of life is sort of the coup de grace of personal transformation. So trust augments and enhances discernment. You know, I'm into the fighting. I've been doing the crazy jujitsu forever now. Finally have a basic handle on it, I think. And I was an MMA coach a little bit, you know, and all that. So I'm not talking about no fighting. You must fight. You can't not fight in life. How are you going to not fight? But fight comes from having a child behind you that you need to protect, and the wolf in the air midstream, and it's going to eat the child. So when you come back from the 10 seconds, certainly you're going to experience trust now embodied, but that trust embodied enters discernment. So it's not judgment in the sense of, I think that, you know, my father behaves this way and they do this and they're going to ruin my health and so forth. It's different than that. It might be a discernment that says, this is not good for me. I don't know that answer. That's for you to understand. But, you know, you might have a discernment saying, I want to walk slow now, and these people are trying to bully me into going at their pace. Sometimes you have to go at their pace. You know, that's the Tao. You just keep on moving and shaking. They go fast, you go fast. They go slow, you go slow, so forth. And you just keep on rolling. You know, that gives you this ability to kind of be untouched, more untouched. However, sometimes you have to say, no, I'm not doing that. Furthermore, you're not doing that. Now the violation of the psychology comes. Somebody's telling you what to do. And that's, or you're telling somebody what to do. And that's the last thing we feel is permissible, because we're so sad about conflict that we feel, I'm not going to go there. Well, then you cannot have establishment in this world, much less physical health and mental health. If the wolf is in the air and there's a baby in a carriage, there's no problem with putting yourself on the line and doing whatever, or being a victim of it. There's no problem with it. You're not going to think about it. You're going to do what you can to help the baby. So in the same way, the coronavirus or whatever virus or disease, it has to be cannibalized by disease. I mean, by the immune system. In other words, there's a for and against in the relative growth. There is a right and wrong in the relative world. Now, you don't have to worry about that, because if you have freedom in your mind and in your soul, and you're standing there and the wolf comes and it's going to go attack the child, you're jumping into action. Are you as worthy to be protected by a ferocious sort of lion as a little baby, or not? You really want to be victimized, so you don't do that for yourself. You know, we all of us have a victimization complex coming from I'm not good enough. So we kind of draw bad things to us. You know, secretly we kind of want to be thumped. So you get over that by having non-cognitive experience of self-worth. Born Enough. Beautiful title, Born Enough. Andrea Lynn. Andrea Lynn, famous best-selling New York Times author, has written a book called Born Enough. It's been on the New York Times best-selling list for 12 weeks in a row, and she's on our call with us now. Andrea Lynn, what do you feel about that phrase, non-cognitive born enough, or something like that? Come on already.
Do you want an answer to that?
Yes. So what does born enough mean?
Non-cognitive born enough is that you're so deeply connected to something greater than yourself that you feel that, and it's just in you, that you feel completely worthy or enough.
Score. Yeah. So non-cognitive comes into play when we start to enter into the universe of physical feeling. When you feel somebody grabs your head and gives you a hug, and you feel cared about as an individual, then you're not thinking. So life's trying to do that to us. Life's trying to interrupt us and tell us that we're okay and we're enough and stuff like that. Now, do you have a relationship with that inside yourself? That worthiness that's non-cognitive, you know, or not? Now, for us that do, we all do in some way. Can we extend that a little bit? So you're going to have silence. Silence is mental antiseptic. And sit here with this mind and this body and be worthy, be okay. I mean, imagine yourself as a baby, how adorable you were, you know? And like Lena and I do with the cat, we're always grabbing his cheeks. And Lena does this thing with his paw. She goes. So I started doing it to her. But that adorableness of you as an individual, that's got to be today. So it starts with you, you know. You want to do that to Jackson? Just have it yourself. The key is non-cognitive. Non-cognitive, non-cognitive, non-cognitive. You're going to feel that experience of being adorable, being worthy, being good enough. My own personal experience, many, many years ago in the Series School of Hard Knocks, before becoming a monk, but I was involved in this stuff full-blown since I'm 8 years old. I've said this to you before. I felt so abandoned and so alone and so rejected that this question came to my mind: is there one? There's not one person in the entire world who cares about me at all. That's what I thought. And then I kind of analyzed it. And like, is that true? There's not one person anywhere in the entire world, not my family, you know, my own head trip, right? My own personal stuff. And I said, no, it's not true. And so that's become extrapolated to, there's all kinds of people that care about me as an individual. Me. Look what a goofball I am. That's not easy. Just imagine being poor Lena in the car with me for 2 hours. That's why she's a saint. So actually, there's tons of people. So who's those tons of people that are caring about you? What's their names? Do you have a list? Can you extrapolate that list to include mystics? Because that's the only thing that's going to transcend your mind. You have to have somebody wiser and stronger. Otherwise, how do you possibly educate yourself or learn anything or be healed? Come on. If every person that comes into your life, you're just waiting to demonstrate and prove that you're smarter and better, what does that mean? It means you're scared to death to be real as having personal issues. So the years can provide, like Carolyn Mace. Who watched the Carolyn Mace thing? It's actually pronounced Mace, but spelled like Miss. I was studying her books 30 years ago. All of them. And all of the rest of them. Barbara Brennan and everything. And now I'm to the place where the study, I have to shut up. And I have to pay attention. And I have to do things differently. The study doesn't work anymore. Other than, like the Bible says, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the washing of the water of the word. Meaning that when you hear good words, everything is cleared again. That's why you got to have good words or somebody talking to you good in your life. Something that works so that by the time we're done, you're not thinking no more. Faith comes by hearing. Faith comes by hearing, being able to hear. That out my compliance. Because if I can hear, everything's talking God. But I can't hear. My ears are all clogged up. So faith returns when my mind is washed by good words, because I'm locked in thought. I am a prisoner of excessive thought. I have no way out of that I know of. So in acknowledging this, you then establish your quotes and you establish your principles and you put the thing on the wall and the rest of it. And over the years, remember, go for the 200,000 year training program. These words start to embed themselves and you become them. Now your eyes change direction. You start to see the outside world and the inside world. You become a living mystic. And that's the only thing that you can do to be happy in this life. There is no other direction to become happy in this life. Only when you have such an internal awareness, like Alejandro does. And then you see the whole world on the inside of yourself. And every time you're shocked or you did it wrong or something, you start over again, just like a baby. Just like you didn't have any idea what you were ever doing. Did you ever suddenly realize, it says this in my book, that you were entirely wrong all along about like everything? I've experienced so much that I don't have a self because it doesn't work to have a self in this sense anymore, because I don't know what I am. I don't know myself. Because it's been repeatedly proven to me that I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about or thinking or doing. I mean, like at all. It's proven to me that everything that I know, everything that I've learned, everything that I am, it was entirely wrong. It's proven to me again and again and again and again. Now, can you have that kind of realization and let yourself go towards the next level again? Because if you can't have that kind of realization, you can't go to the next level. Think about it. I was wrong about how I interpreted my sister. There's other factors that I wasn't aware of, like she's doing the best she can, Everybody's doing the best we can. When we think about, I remember a couple of weeks ago, I'll do my confession again. Lena and I went to this thing, and mostly I'm 100% sweet, right, honey? Except when I'm not. So we get there, and I'm all mad about something, and I'm trying to understand what's going on. And then we get out of the car, and Lena is like, she's like, And I'm like, there's cars in the street. We're going to cross the street. We're going to go over here. You know, wrong. Just wrong. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Okay. So right afterwards, I'm given the justifications. You're not aware of the cars, how fast, the thing, and where we're going. And I'm just trying to, you know, all justification. Every hour that went on after that, I saw how stupid I was. And now a month later, whatever it is, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm still saying it to everybody. Why? Because I don't want to forget. Because I want to do it better. And I was not good enough. That's the fact. I have no business being that way. I was wrong. I'm still wrong right now in plenty of aspects of who I am and what I am. So how are you going to change and become better unless you realize this kind of specific issues, you know, about how you're interpreting things or where your sadness comes from, you know, or where your confusion or where your lack of trust comes from of men. Remember, men are like puddles, women are like oceans. If men aren't careful, women will just eat you. So you have to realize your power as a woman. Oh. All right, let's go do some qigong, huh? I forgot that. Can you hear me? Okay. $20 degrees. And my socks again. Okay, let's just bounce around a little bit. Start to breathe into it. All the stuff I said, issues, find the factories of bad energy inside your psyche and your body and let them vent. Discharge it. Now, because you're more permeable, start to receive from that field, from those people, from the Atma, from God, from nature. Start to be cared about as an individual. You accept it. You let it in. We're going to put our hands like this and bow to the sky above you. Open up to the sky. Gather in from the sky. Touch the head. Bring it down. How about all the trees and the lakes and the oceans and the mountains and the furry creatures? Open up and be one with all of it. Like Marianne Williams saying, you're playing small is not serving the world. Just make the phone call. Tend to the person. Like Bob Dylan, better serve somebody. Down through the body. Underneath you, soil, magma. You're not going to get nourishment other than from these places for your physical body. Be clear. Magma, metal ball, teeming rich soil, the smell of it, open up to it. When you come back from a wonderful experience, you land and you experience touching the earth with your mind. Never lose your root. Never lose your root. Keep your root cultivating all the time, just like a tree. Keep growing your roots. Gather in from the center, the metal ball of the earth, the magma, the tectonic plates moving, the soil. Touch the head, because that's what you're trying to calm down. Now that the issues are exposed, you can be in the right place to receive miraculous sort of recreation, help. Brainstem convergence, inner nectar in the mouth, Amrita, golden pollen in Qigong, swallow down. So I want you to know that it doesn't happen another way. You're not going to go to another teaching and find it another way. This is how it happens. I'm telling you how it happens, how healing happens. There's fearful clinging inside your body. When you reveal that fearful clinging, it unbounds and collects with nature into your body, flesh and bone, magnetism and power. And then you wake up and you start to feel better. That's the mechanics of how it happens. Inner looking, inner smelling, inner listening. All of these things create the sweet taste in the mouth. Amrita. Swallow down. Press the belly. Compact power into your body. Make your body powerful. Stars. Swallow down, inner listening, inner looking. Prana and Upana for the yogis. This is Upana, the descending current. In Qigong, the major Yin river, meridian. Tip of the tongue, down the center line of the body. The chest softens in like you're receiving a hug. So now you start to feel better because the revealed issues are making contact with nature. How do the revealed issues make contact with nature? Washing of the water of the word. Darshan, magnetism of somebody that does this all the time. You're not getting it another way. All right, sky. And it's got to be spiritual. The physical part, the most powerful physical people are the people that have the internal energy as primary. In the Shaolin Temple, there's two scriptures, Yi Jin Qing and Shi Shao Qing. And the people that make it to the Shi Shao Qing, those are the ones with the powers and the qi and all that kind of stuff. And this is what we want to evolve in our person, always for spiritual development. Let's do some body pumping. Make the muscles go. The Tao, enlightenment, it's all about surrender, right? Atmic compliance. And that's relational. So your whole thing is trying to understand your family of origin, because that's what's deepest in your psyche. And then your key relationships. So when you do power things and you get help, that's where it's all going to go. It's all going to be invested in Atmic compliance. Understanding how this bird and this tree and this person, they're all wonderful, but you just didn't get to see it just yet because of your own issues, right? So cycle through the steps 1, 2, and 3. The revealing of the issue begins to become coddled by grace, by love, and you start to fall in love and become happy. You feel it hormonally. You feel it in your body. So that's a cycle of training. These things happen. And this is modeled after how it happens. It's not really like my ideas. Let me see you. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. Make your muscles go. Oh, good. Belly power and perineum. The inhale, pull the perineum up. Exhale, push the perineum down. Gotta have core strength. Gotta have digestive strength. Who's that one? Keep going. Mm-hmm. Perfecto. Scratch. Five Animal Frolic and Badwa Jin are the two core Qigong components. Qigong is necessary to accomplish, or pranayama, and pranayama is not breathing exercises. Pranayama is working with biomagnetism. Those two forms, Five Animal Frolic and Badwa Jin, are the two core Qigong forms that you'll find in all the temples. Badwa Jin, we're going to do in a minute. Five Animal Frolic, we're doing my version of it, which is just connecting with different kind of animal traits. More force, more force. Come on. Come on. Ow. Oh. Oh. All right, let's be a bear. Walk like a bear. Just back and forth. Try to get the vigor of a bear, the vigor of a bird in flight, the vigor of an animal scratching, the vigor of a dolphin's skin if you touch it. Right now, we're just bearing it up. Bear picking fruit. This is one of the classic Five Animal Frolics. Are your fingers even? Relaxed? You're getting the energy down into your body from your head? Are you touching the earth underneath you? Are you aware of the sights and sounds, what's in the environment? When you're alone and seen in nature, you're giant and you're with all of these elemental supports. When nature's support comes to you, you have that magic field. So you're trying to join with nature. Let's do an eagle soaring in flight. Pick a scene and see it in your mind's eye. Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls, Lavender Field. Feel the feeling. Become the bird. What does it feel like to be an eagle soaring above Niagara Falls? Are your wings even? It's kind of like Democrats and Republicans. It takes two wings to fly a bird. Ha! Now open up to the stars above you. Gather in. Bring it down. Brainstem convergence. Inner looking. Face shining inwards. Inner smelling. Inner listening. Swallow down. Amrita. Soften. Relax. Bring the energy down. More gravity. Gravity. Gravity touching the earth. Now, how about a deer? That's a classic 5 animal form. With the little horns. Eating from a tree. I saw one this morning eating from a tree, and the pine cone fell off, and then they were looking for the pine cone. Being silly and funny like this is something where all religion came from, shamanism. Because the animals are like the bridge to the psychic world, and the psychic world is the bridge to the spiritual world. If you miss one of them, then you become dissociative. The animals have tremendous strength, and they're much more aware of fields than we are. And the fields that are out here are causing us to be in fearful clinging. And then that taps into whatever our stuff is and our personal issues, and we stay separate from the vast expanse of nature. How about the feel of a dolphin? Try to pet a dolphin. Feel the wet skin, smooth. Now stand straight and notice your feet. Which toe is not talking to the ground? Are your eyes subject object, or do you see your whole environment? Because I'm in context only when you see the sky and the stars and stuff, wise people in relationship to me. But usually when we talk, we're just back and forth with each other. That's not how to be. That's not being in love or being happy. Be spacious, be self-sourcing, be connected to the trees and what you love, and then talk to people. And we're going to do Badwa Jin. Firm your stance. Gu Jing. Bring all down. And watch your toes. What's going on with your toes? Every time you're in a grocery line, do your stance. Which hip is forward? Which shoulder is forward? Is your chest popping out, or is it relaxed like it's receiving? Ears in line with shoulders, nose in line with navel. These adjustments are for a lifetime. Finally relax. Finally release the stress. Discharge downwardly. Badwa Jin has 8 movements. First, we're going to do 2 hands hold up the heavens. You'll find this in all Shaolin temples and in all Wudang temples. Hold up the heavens. This stimulates the triple warmer or triple heater for our acupuncture folks. Some people do it this way, but I figured let's do it this way. You'll see Buddha statues doing this. That's supporting the heavens. But I include this. You could do it however you like. You'll see it done both ways. And try to feel as if you're holding up the sky. Lean back. Everybody's got text neck. There's a medical definition called text necks because our heads are hanging down all the time. So it's really important that you do that 10-second thing I advised, which is things are looking up. Keep going. I'm going to look around here. Okay, look up, look up, look up and back. Look up and back. Keep your feet strong and solid. Always be working on the firmness of your stance and your balance. That's very good. Okay, number 2 for Badwa Jin is drawing the bow and shooting the hawk or the vulture. Stance firm like this. Then get into a stance here, 45 degrees with the one foot, the other foot straight. Draw the bow. Dynamic tension, make your body strong. Release. Again. When you turn on your feet, turn on your heels. So when you're opening a cabinet, turn on your heels. When you're walking, position your feet like a dancer. All the time, position your feet. There's a lot of wisdom in positioning your feet. It's really an amazing thing. So you learn to position more precisely when grabbing an object or lifting something, sitting down, getting up. You practice Qigong, nobody knows. Other side, stand straight. Your other foot, one will become straight and the other one will turn on the heel 45 degrees. So if you're going to need to spin around the phone ring, spin on your heels. Make sure your feet are not in front of each other. Make sure there's a gap with your feet all the time when you do things. How people break hips and break knees and all that kind of stuff is that they turn with their head. When you go get something out of the cabinet, you go with your head. No, go with your feet. Nobody has to know. You don't have to. I'm exaggerating the movement. But you do it all the time. This is number 2. Draw the bow. Shoot something. Master Shengyi of the Shaolin Temple has a great long form of this, Andrea, if you want to check it out. Badwa Jin. Number 3 is separate heaven and earth. Palm on the earth. Touch your palm to the earth with your mind. Touch the palm of the earth. Touch the sky with your hand. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Stretch. Let me see. Good. Good. Keep going. Stretch. Stretch your shoulder. Stretch your palm up. Keep your spine straight. Infinite changes and refinements. I mean, which finger is sticking out too much? Which hip is forward? Why is your weight more on one foot than the other? Letting the sky lavish your body, letting the earth lavish your body, creating the miracle chamber from the miracle streams. Number 4, wise owl gazes back. Wide stance, feet out a little bit, and just look behind you. Turn to the other direction. Continue. Good. The neck and the spine, as best as we can, are really important because the spinal cord is highly conductive electrical material. The spinal cord is called the thrusting vessel in Chinese medicine, in the 8 extraordinary meridians. The thrusting vessel means that power shoots up through the spine and shoots down through the spinal cord. So if you have a problem with your bones and stuff like that, make sure your spinal cord, you got an awareness of your spinal cord. So electricity, magnetism goes down the spinal cord and up the spinal cord. So as much as you can create that movement down, movement up of the electricity, that's a big deal. The Sushumna canal in yoga, it's a big deal for neurology, for neurological strength. And that's what we're doing. We're moving our way into developing more nerve magnetism so that when we go into meditation, that nerve magnetism that we've cultivated can go into neurological repair. Okay, wise out.
For that one, do we keep our hips square? For that one, you turn your whole
Notice when you turn if your toes come off the ground. Keep your toes awake. The toes are really important. I've noticed older people are less and less aware of their toes. So toes are really important. Turn back, wise owl gazes backwards. So see how your feet grabbing the ground when you're turning your body?
Yeah, and it's okay if my hips turn too then, right?
Oh yeah, hips. And as much as you can, your entire body turns. Your shoulders, and you're getting that turn of the spine. So whatever you can do with the spine, do that turn. The twisting and turning of the spine is going to help you to not have any more loss of movement with your spine. And that's important because, you know, if that spine or those bones become totally crunched up, then that's the end. We're dead. So you want to make sure that your spinal cord is alive, whatever's going on with your body. And from that electrical magnetism in your spinal cord, you're going to be able to do more things with your body. Is that clear?
Yes, thanks.
All right. Wise owl gazes backwards. Let me see. Grab the ground with your feet. So the head top is, the brain cells are talking to the sky. When I was a monk for the Guru, the Beatles, when I would go eat, I would just have my head back and I would look at the stars. I'm walking with a group of people and I have my head back like this because it was a dark area and I would just look at the stars. But anyhow, we're loosening up these areas that are restricting magnetism moving through our nerves. That's what this is all about. That's what the head going back is about, and that's what the turning is about. All right, sway the head and shake that ass. Shake that ass. I would put it on camera, but it wouldn't be very nice. Come on, like shake that, shake it. Sway the head and shake the tail. That's number 5 in Badwa Jin. So move your butt. Coccyx bone, very important. There we go. Move your butt. Move your butt. Oh, look at Om Shanti. She's like doing the Bollywood. I think that's Mexican now. I want to be a mariachi guy with those hats. Okay, move the butt. Move the butt. I know it's weird. Move the butt. Move the butt. Move your butt. Move your butt back and forth this way. Because the coccyx bone is the connection in there of the major yin river and the major yang river in Qigong. The major descending current, upana in yoga, and the major ascending current, prana. The coccyx bone and your base there is the foundation of it all. That's the foundation of your physical health. And then sway the head. That's another gate through which the magnetism has to pass to circulate. So if your butt is all tight, then it's not going to do it. Okay. 2 hands hold the feet to strengthen the kidneys and waist. Number 6. Can you put your hands, your palms underneath your feet? Who can do that? Can you do that, Andrea? Shanti's got no problem. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, that's good. Put your hands, your palms underneath your feet, or bend down as much as you can and put your palms in front of your body. Bend down and stretch forward. Good. Stay there and stretch. Good. Stay there and stretch. If you can put your palms underneath your feet, then I want you to pull up. That's going to stretch your kidneys. You'll feel the pull in your middle back, lower middle back. This is number 6 in Bhadwa Jin. 2 hands strengthen the kidneys and waist by holding the feet. So you could put your fingers underneath your toes if you can't put your palms underneath your feet. And if you could do that, and then stretch up. Pull in your arms. Pull up with your whole back. Pull your back up. Okay. Clench the fists and glare fiercely. You have to have the yang movement. You have to have external power. It's not non-spiritual. Okay. Clench the fists and glare fiercely. That's number 8 of Bhadwa Jin, the final movement. Good. Good. For and against. You can press your whole body. Get your energy out there. Get your energy out there. Do it in front of you. When you inhale, perineum comes up. When you exhale, perineum pushes down. Ujjayi breathing. You know, gurus don't talk about much power stuff, real enlightened people, but a little bit of Ujjayi breathing or power breathing can be very good for you. We can do that now. Ujjayi breathing is when you make that tense sound with your throat. That's a power thing. Why do we do it? To have energy for meditation and psychological refinement. Okay. So that's the 8 movements of Badwa Jin. And we did a version of 5 animal frolic, where just like petting a cat or petting a dog, there's some amazing nourishment. So as your awareness expands, you begin to live with what's in creation. The nourishments of what's in creation is present to your sensual nature. Connectivity is empowerment. So when your mind is free, you're connected with nature's nourishing. And these nourishings are the foundation of physical strength. Doesn't happen another way. You unbound, you see these birds and you see these things, and you start to participate in the texture of a flower, the feeling of water in your fingers, a bird in flight, a dolphin, so forth. That's the meaning of 5 animal frolic. Badwa Jin is to stretch the ligaments and the tendons so that once again, more magnetism is flowing through your body. Why? So you can fall in love and become happy. You can go into meditation. Wash the field. Psychically, there's a connection between you and the environment. Where are those aspects in relationship where you're in fearful clinging? Just be a servant and wash the field. That'll give you the privilege to participate with more people because you're just washing. You'll notice that the sights and the sounds in the environment and your physical environment might be brighter now. If you could see energy, you could see when your field expands. And that's when you go and sell food and whenever your businesses are and so forth, that's when you've got facilitation because you have power in the field. So if you're a servant in the field, that allows you to link with the energy that's in the air. It's called Schumann coupling. It means that the pulses of your magnetism literally pulse with the magnetism that's in the air. Schumann resonance is caused from the lightning strikes that are around the earth. If you're not boundless and aware of it, if you're not aware of the magnetism in this field, then how in the world are you going to have power? And you need power to feed people and heal people like this. Look into different things, that color, that picture, that tree outside the window. Expand your awareness. Wash the field. Use each sense. What are the smells in that room? Expand further to the block and the street and the building, to the other rooms in the house. Wash everything. The sky, the spirits in the air. Each other. Notice if there's any tension in your hands. Tension and muscular strength is not how to work with energy. You want your body to be very, very soft and loose. Notice the evenness of your fingers. Try to feel that connection of the palm energy between yourself and the other person and just wash them. Now do it in front of you. Feel magnetic heat waves. One finger Zen. By the way, Zen and Tibetan Buddhism were both created by East Indian priests. Do you know that? So it all comes from India, it all comes from Sanskrit. You bow to the stars underneath the earth, open up to them, and say, oh. Stars around the side, stars up here, stars in the brainstem. You got a brainstem convergence to get the Amrita going. Should be a sweet saliva in the mouth. Did you know the heart is a gland? You know that as well as an organ. So it secretes hormones. It's also the main place scientifically where your emotions can be measured, whether you're emotionally resilient or not. So you want to have tender-hearted, soft-hearted, heartfelt experience by life coming in, touching your heart, releasing those hormones in the body. Soften your fingers. More pressure. Condensation of energy is happening now. Condensation. Drop the shoulders, drop the elbows. Feel the magnetism between your wrists. You're going to cultivate the coherence and the amplitude of this magnetism over the years of practice. Turn your right hand around. Good. More pressure. The more gravity you have, the more influence you can have. So you want to land your transcendental or intellectual nature into the earth. Find your feet, find the earth. You feel the magnetic waves moving between your hands. The magma, stir the magma of the earth. You should be non-local now, meaning that your eyes are not subject object. Your eyes are kind of like everywhere, like you're in love or like you're alone in nature. Same thing with the other senses. You should see that environment you're in and those relationships that you're in, and they should all be within you by now. Feel that magnetic energy. The hands of accomplished people in Qigong have hundreds of thousands of times more magnetic energy than an average person's hands, or the hands of a healer. All of you are like this. When you have the right stuff going on, your hands are healing hands, or you wouldn't be in this class. So you're going to cultivate the coherence of your magnetism by working on your psychology. because that's the purpose of energy. In advanced Qigong, whether it's Shaolin Temple or Wudang Temple, the Yi Jin Qing produces magnetism. And then that magnetism is then used to go into your spine and brain and go into meditation. And that's what we do in class. Now, you ask me questions, I want you to ask me questions about what the science of it is and, how this is really how it works. And you got to be clear about what you're doing, right? Now we'll do the left side. Prayer hands. Stars underneath you. Open up. Bring the stars in your brain like a swirling galaxy. Secretion, lip smacking, mouth watering, electric battery mouth. Heart softening and healing. Inhale, perineum goes up. Exhale, perineum goes down. Good. Stay connected to the sky and earth because that's your power source. Positive ions in the sky, negative ions in the earth. When your awareness touches the flower, you get nourishment. There's all kinds of nourishments in this environment for you to touch. Find it. Get out of your head. Hands like this, left over right. Feel the magnetism here. Turn them around. Magnetism. Like this, one side of the navel and the other side of the navel. I don't know where I'm at in the picture. Left turns over. Pressure, like a spring. Thicker spring, thicker magnetism. You want to make your magnetism thicker and quicker. So a quicker vibration and more of it. Again, like this. And now counterclockwise turn. And now finger drops into the magma. Stir counterclockwise. This way. Counterclockwise. See if you can do the Tai Chi with me. Now tell me if I need to, what I need to do. Put it down. Does that work or no way? My feet are frozen.
That works.
That's good.
45 degrees. We're going to do left foot first. All the weight in the left foot. Step out with the right foot. The right foot goes down straight. Turn in on the left heel. This is called Wu Ji. Here is Wu Ji. This is called Tai Chi. Wu Ji is void. Tai Chi is matrix, polarities. Positive electricity, negative electricity. Can you live with third eye open and live with X-ray vision? Make life a lot easier. To have a calm mind, be able to see through bodies and minds. So this is Tai Chi. This is when you kind of enter the world of the relative. The philosophy of Tai Chi and Qigong and the inner stuff is what it's all about, not the movements, right? This way. You know there's negative magnetism in the earth. You know there's positive magnetism in the sky. You know that when your awareness is free, you're the wire that connects them, and now you have power. But if your awareness is obsessing in your mind, there's no positive and negative connection. Nature is your larger body. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're doing it the opposite way now. You don't know how much you're learning. I'm always teaching you 10 steps ahead. So now we're doing opposite what I taught you last time. But you'll find out one day, hopefully, how much you actually learned. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spin on your heels, right? Don't twist your knees. Spin on your heels. Like this. Grab the energy. Matrix, right? That's the most advanced movement. This is called ward off. Yin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ward off yin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. All the weight on the left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spin on the heels. 45 degrees. 5. Sit down through your left foot under the earth. When you have a lot of power, the power's got to go under the earth. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the way
William,
through
we
the.
can't see you. You're just, your head is there. Can you lower it a little?
Thank you. Sorry. Headless horseman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single weightedness is a big deal in Tai Chi. 100% on the left foot, 100% on the right foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left foot, all the weight on the left foot. 6, all the weight on the right foot. Your right foot is 45 degrees. Left foot steps forward directly. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With the whole hand. 7. When you have less muscular tension, more nerve current can flow through your body. Your mind is determining how much muscular tension you have in your ligaments primarily. So when you're doing these forms or when you're opening and closing a cabinet, you're just learning how to integrate all your joints. All your joints. You don't have to look funny. Nobody has to know. But as you awaken more of your joints, you'll create a superfine hormonal nectar in your body. And you'll also create more bone marrow magnetism. How much you have to practice? 2,000 years. Babaji, I've done those same movements thousands and thousands and thousands of times since I'm a child. And I tell you, when you really learn how to do them, you build this super connectivity in your body, because when you open the cabinet, it's no longer your hand opening the cabinet. It's your mind. It's your feet. It's the earth. And every movement becomes your chance for psychological embodiment. The body is the ground wire of the brain. The body downloads and digests the energy and information of the brain. Pay attention to your feet, and you're stepping all the time. Is this mic on? Okay. Hi, and thank you for making it for the second portion of today's program. I hope you're enjoying it thus far. I'm really happy to have you here today. This next selection is going to be from Billy Joel. No. Let's put this on. Okay. Upinder. Uh-oh. I wonder how long she was out of the room. Welcome back. How long you been gone? Testing. Can you hear me, Anthony?
Yep, back in action. Back in action.
How long you been out?
Just when you started the One Finger Zen.
Oh no, that was fun.
I know. Well, we was delaying us, and I'm like, okay, well, I know it, so I'm gonna try to follow it without it. But then it completely shut off. But we were with you in spirit, all of you guys. We appreciate all your love. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Om Shanti, where'd you go? But you can hide, huh? Shushamna.
So the exercise made my ankles sore, which is good. These ankles really need to get into shape here. But I really love those 8 you showed us. That twisting one, my ankles like grounded. I was like, oh wow, that's for me right there. I'll tell you. Woo. Thank you.
Remember always, there's no external solution to a personal problem. So anything that we do physical is only to augment the spiritual experience of coherence. In science, the quality of an electron in a superconductor called Meissner magnetism means that it's a field of energy that's self-sourcing. That's enlightenment. Where in your body and in your mind is not self-sourcing? Where is it objectified? Constantly obsessing about others and so forth. All kinds of places, right? So anything we do physically, it's just to move us towards the experience of authentic meditation. Authentic meditation can't happen without darshan. You meditating is absurd. Life meditating through you, that's another story. Or something divine. Like if Alejandro would send me cookies, for example. Just saying. Well, we ran out of cookies and I didn't buy any more because I've been eating too many. Do you make cookies? That's my main concern here. I ain't right. All right. So you fall in love and you become happy and you have no thought. Om Shanti, you want to give a shot at what Samadhi is?
Isn't that it's so hard to use words to describe it. Is it the state of Sat Chidananda when you're in Samadhi, you're in that peaceful, expansive state of awareness? No. Okay, thank you. Okay, what is it?
Samadhi is like the Bible, the peace that passes all understanding, but okay. There's no self-awareness. Soulgasm, what was that? Soulgasm, that's Samadhi. It means you feel so good that You're gone. There's no self-awareness in pure samadhi. There's different kinds of samadhi. Savakapa samadhi, nirvakapa samadhi, sahaja samadhi.
Is that
Whatever.
the one where the tears fall from your eyes?
I hope so.
Samadhi? Okay, okay.
Yeah. When you come back from it.
Okay.
So in samadhi, there's no awareness, strictly speaking.
Right.
In samadhi, there's no self. You get the beautiful hug and you're gone. You get the cookie and you're gone. Hopefully chocolate chip. I'm starting to warm up to have to go to the store at this rate. I better stop. So samadhi is the moment where there's no self, there's no time, I haven't bought ice cream in 3 weeks. Huh? Yeah, there's no self. So it's very, very specific experience. The same in Qigong, embryonic breathing. So you have no breath and no thought. And don't let anybody fool you. Tell them I don't know what I'm talking about. They're wrong. I'll tell you the story about when I ran the 4th of July. I ran the 4th of July here 4 years. 3 years? 3 years. And it might have been 4. Anyway, the 1 year, it was just giant. Circuses and bands and everything. And I was talking to the board of the people, all the people that were working with me to create it. 60 booths and a lot of stuff, and I'm in charge of the whole thing. And this guy said, I was with, because I only talk about meditation, right? So if I'm doing the 4th of July meeting, I'm going to have to talk about meditation to everybody, because that's the deal. The mayor knows it, everybody knows it, and if they don't want it, then I'm out. So I'm talking about meditation, and this guy said, I was with all the gurus in the 60s, and of course you can have thought and meditation. I was in India and I went and studied. And I was like, what? So I created this document called No Thought Document. And it's all the teachings of all the super masters talking about absolutely no thought. It's a big document. I wanted to check, because everybody says that. You can have thought and meditation. No, absolutely not. That's not meditation, that's concentration. You have to be so satiated, so feel so safe that you're beyond thought. You have experienced the silent mind. So if you have the great cookie, you're going to experience no thought. But hopefully we could do it better ways. If you have the New Deal, Andre and Danielle get scheduled in on London Live. Yeah! You're going to have no thought. If you fall in love and become happy and the person's going, oh, it's so adorable. You're going to have no thought until you're more than 9 years old and you say, oh, I'm not doing that no more. That don't work. But it does work. And how it works is that you have to do it within yourself. So you know that no thought can happen. I mean, I'm going to teach you meditation forever, and this is the main thing, It's a key. It's a key to mental hygiene, emotional hygiene, to experience silence, time just listening to silence. Now that silence leads you to the no thought, leads you to no self-awareness. So the example is a wonderful moment. You've got to make these examples more clear. What in your childhood was so magical that you're absorbed? You have no thought of anything, like take no thought for the morrow. That's the beginning of that Bible quote. Take no thought, Jesus said, for tomorrow. Take no thought for tomorrow, for every day has enough cares of its own. So if you don't get beyond thought, if you don't get beyond psychological magnetism, which means the field that you're in, you go back and forth with me and you go back and forth in the environment. If you don't come to the place where you're still, then you're not getting it. You're not going to get the magic. So that a beautiful moment, an amazing moment can produce that for you. It has happened many, many times, from sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and other ways where you've had no thought. So that moment where there's no self and no thought, that's samadhi. Now, don't go off into samadhi and become so heavenly minded that you're of no earthly good. That's the next thing you have to watch out for. Because then you're like, oh, I got this. Now I'm not doing people. I'm not doing, let's go to the cave, or I'm just going to make money, or I'm just going to make my life work. No, go right back into family of origin, go right back into stuff. Because when you come down from the moment of no self, no experience of self-awareness, even timelessness, you have to stop time and traffic. When you have that, really the beautiful hug is the perfect experience, but the love and sex analogy is tough because it's kind of polarized topics. But imagine like with a cat or a good friend or something, you have this like amazing cuddle. That, when you go beyond, that's samadhi. So you have to make that happen. You have to exercise yourself to create that as a daily experience in your life. 10s, 5s, and customized, because that, according to brain science, do you like when that, according to brain science, is the most powerful experience you can have to transform your life. Because that's when brainwave coherence happens. When you have that amazing moment. So try to get your mind around this. You have amazing moment all kinds of ways. When my business, when my relationship, when my cookie, when. Get your mind around it in such a way that you develop your references so that it has more legs to stand on. That's what creates belief, is what your subconscious references are about this moment in time. If you have Atmic compliance with this moment in time, then this moment in time is magical and it's timeless, and you have a lot of magnetism. So if you need to create a boundary, you can create a boundary. If you need to facilitate or give something, you can give something. You can facilitate your life if you have magnetism. So you're all the time trying to get magnetism. But I'm saying samadhi is beyond magnetism. Samadhi is beyond the give and take of the magnetism, but it produces the most magnetism. That's why in the Qigong scriptures it said, if you have your attention on qi, you'll only be confused. So if you're constantly strategizing and you're constantly in the field of psychic magnetism and you're never beyond it, then not only will you never get the magnetism, you'll only live from starvation all the time because you never get help. You only get help if this intervention comes in. Darshan, some kind of magnetism that takes you beyond the field of magnetism. You get out of the matrix and you're complete. You have this experience of being satiated. You want to be satisfied. You want to be satiated. You want to have enough. You want to be enough. All right, so choose it. Choose being enough for 10 seconds. Choose it. Choose it, choose it, choose it. And then over time, that's going to build up a new neurological strength in your body that has enough magnetism, because now you're back in the world of magnetism, to regrow damaged neural roots of where you're sad or where you're lonely or where something's wrong or where you're traumatized. You can live transparently in such a way that your inner body begins to become like a repair shop for the universe. So that's inside you. Only if you feel safe, only if you get help are you going to be able to see your insides. Because the way it is now, the mind doesn't stop. So you can do 10 seconds, have it stop. Every time the Guru of the Beatles used to say, like dipping in magic waters, I say the same things. Yeah, because I'm that simple. You have one experience. Then you have to remember the experience and realize that you need a map to get back to it. And remember, the experience has to be physical and psychological. It can't be over there. So then you have a map. And now you can begin to, as the Guru of the Beatles said, dip the cloth in the ink and then take the cloth out and let it dry. So when you have samadhi or embryonic breathing, you dip the cloth in the ink, you dip your nervous system in a superfine biochemical cocktail, like falling in love and becoming happy, like a version of the cookie. You know? So you want supermagnetism? Get out of magnetism. Get out of the cookie. Just for 10 seconds. Find yourself. Are you laughing at me or with me? At. Yeah, I know. All right. Now, step one is what? What is step one, Om Shanti? Om Shanti Shanti. Yesterday, we were in the woods and we were saying Om Shanti Shanti. Weren't we, Honey Bunny Pie? What's step one?
I don't know. What is step one?
Can anyone help with that, please?
I can. I feel it
Okay.
plenty. Step one is feeling the contrast, discomfort. Create a scribbles nap. So you make a stick figure on a piece of paper and write the areas that, scribble on the areas that you're feeling stuff physically or emotionally. It's the stuff you want to work on. It's the yuck. It's the junk. It's the mud.
These definitely are the 3 steps to Samadhi. That's for sure. So first you have this revealed need. That's step one. And remember that the mind is all the time trying not to feel that because it's tired of feeling sad, lonely, and not good enough alone. But as long as we're trapped in thought and trapped in the give and take, bless you, then we have to have the step one.
Can I ask a question about that?
Please.
When I came on the call, I had a lot of these ones in my head, a lot of these on the list. Okay. Now going through class, it's lightened, lessened. Do I need to go back to how that felt really deeply before I start meditation? Is it okay that I felt it before class and now it's eased up a little bit and still going to meditation?
Great question. The answer is that when you really have worked with this stuff a little bit, and you get a full spectrum approach to meditation, meaning a little nature, a little energy, a little exercise, a little song, a little prayer, a little something, then the step one's go on. You know, you're going to have to re-reference it, yeah, because step one, step two, and step three are the three magic ingredients to Samadhi. And Samadhi is one moment that can change everything. So that's what life's all about. It's just trying to experience moments that ripple, moments that are so amazing that your quality of life is improved because the quality of the moments of your life are improved. So when you go into meditation, meditation is not like this, Om Shanti. Meditation is not like, that's not meditation. Meditation that's concentration. Concentration is below the level of the intellect and the senses. Meditation is above the level of the intellect and senses. So if you want to see a graph or a physical representation of meditation cycles would be like this. 1, 2, 3. Because you need the negative fuel to come up to reach out to the positive of darshan or of education or of friend. And so when you have one moment where these 3 things happen and you get beyond all of the connections between you and everybody that's in your life, when you experienced it for one moment, now you come back, you have insight, and you should have this junk that comes up that you're supposed to work with again. Now, if you're able to release more of this junk from inside of the cells of your body, then that junk now goes back up to a higher realm of heaven or a higher Guadalupe or a higher friend. And it touches it. And I was teaching somebody yesterday and I had the sun on and I had this vision that something in her body was touching the sun. It was like crackling. It just got healed. Kind of like lightning. So that's kind of like what happens. So when you go into meditation, remember, meditation is not like this. If you get really good at it, maybe it'll be like that. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about how it cycles. And as it cycles, then you get more to this conscious coma. That's the deepest repair mode of the body, right? Any advanced meditator is like that. There's no breath and no thought for a long amount of time. So the more shock you have repressed inside your system, the more I want that to come out and smack me in the face. Because that's the role I'm playing around here. And if you don't do that, then don't blame me for not getting healed. But you get this stuff out and you give it to God, or you give it to teacher, or you give it to the air or something. And now it's like the negative pole and the positive pole to come together. Crack! And you become healed in another place of your biological biography. But if you're attached to who you are, you can't, or you know who you are, you can't have that process. You have to not know where you're going, not know who you are, and trust the GPS of wise people, which is, you're my favorites map. You're my favorites list with the wise quotes and the people you choose and everything else. That being submitted to with more time in the day will allow you to have more magnetism, more change in your brain. And one cycle of meditation contains all of these ingredients. Now, if you really reach, which you will, if you follow direction, you reach this stillness, this calm, conscious, abiding, contentment, satiation, satisfaction. Okay, that's the stasis of meditation. That's when you're like this. And that is necessary with your body. So you can experience this with your cortex, with your brain. I don't want that. I want you to experience it with your body. I want you to work with something that's in your body mind that you're afraid of so much that you finally have peace with it and you can sit still. No, don't dissociate. As you do these cycles, below the level of the senses in the intellect, above the level of the senses in the intellect, you'll experience more coherence, where that little bit in your body that needed to be healed, now it got healed. And then next week, that little bit in your body, and now this part of your personality, now this part of your character. And then little by little, the cells of your body are like mini engines. And these engines start to hum. That's the om. Your body should hum. But it's got to be natural. So the way that it becomes natural, where you have this kind of established embryonic breathing in Qigong. No breath, no thought, no future, no past. It's just pure magic. But I want it to happen naturally by building a platform of your own mind and your own body getting healed. So meditation, after a while, your relationship with step one is different. You're just kind of watching it. Now it's like not even you. It's like, your car and it has a bolt loose, screw loose. It has something in the mind and the body that is, it's just like a car then. The software program of who you are is not who you are anymore if you reach meditation. So you see your own body, your own mind, your own life. You're like, I don't even care that I'm imperfect. So the suffering's not there anymore because it's just like a car. You'll see in your neurology, there's these pieces that need to be fixed. And so it changes. In the step one, when you're really starting step one, it's really difficult because you really have to burst your bubble and your ego and all, and you got it. Oh gosh. But as you go into more meditation, it becomes like watching your car. So the car is the software program of your mind and your body. You think you're a woman, you're a man, your body, that's all silliness when you have consciousness. So it disappears, suffering disappears. And then you still can see that, in this car, I've got to do the rear differential oil change. Okay, well, got to be done. I get it. But, it's a car. And whether I can get that done or not get that done, I don't even understand. I can't make a perfect car. It's just different. You don't suffer anymore. You see yourself as a work in progress and evolution is attempting to upgrade the human genome through you. And if you could be receptive and be kind and be patient with yourself and others, give it another try today, that step one will disappear. But depending on where you're at, you know, what's going on emotionally, if you just acted like a jerk or something, you know, then you're going to have to be in step one and suffer. But if in that step one and suffer, can you reach out? Do you have mentors? Do you have help? Are you allowed to start over? Are you allowed to be wrong? God, I think that's wonderful. Are you allowed to be wrong? Are you allowed to be ignorant? Are you allowed to be incompetent? If I'm not allowed to be ignorant and incompetent and wrong, then I'm done. Because I'm very ignorant and incompetent and wrong. I don't know about you. You know, when I do workshops, I say stuff like that. And then somebody is offended usually. And I go right up to them and I say, no, that's just me. It's not you. It's just me. I know. So you get the idea there? How's that sound? Okay. The establishment of meditation is super slow down. And personally, I need cookies to have it happen. But I don't know about you. Maybe you could do it just by yourself. God, I want more cookies. I had 4 packs. I was in a full-blown addiction just 2 weeks ago. Remember we bought 4 packs, honey? I just bought them. I'm like, let's make another 10 cookies. That went on every night. And I was sitting there, we were laying together, and I'd be like, hoping she's not seeing how many cookies I'm eating. Just evil. I repent. Maybe Jesus can save me. Maggie, will Jesus help me? I always ask Lena when Jesus is going to save me. What about today? Oh, can you hurry up already? I'm 54 and bald, for God's sakes. All right. How long can you make your breath?
Oh.
Let's challenge each other, okay? Soften your chest. Receptivity. How's it going, Adrian? Am I blowing your mind? Longer, longer, longer. I'll tell you, you sure are brightened up, Miss Adrian. But remember, when you drop, it pops. And that's just exactly the mode you're in. You had these challenges, and then now you're brightening up, and it's all enlightenment, and then you're going back to the job you hate. It's like, that's exactly how it works, you know. So you got to pre-process that. You got to see every employee. You got to see everybody. You have to constantly see it, because we don't want to have any health issues around here. I'm already aging and half dead. I don't need any extra ones. Longer, 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 longer breath. That's how you access the subconscious. Calmer pulse, longer breath. Om Shanti's eating cookies. Longer, 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 longer. Soften your eyes into receptivity. Drishta in yoga means that you're seeing a point of focus in front of you and your eyes are softened into receptivity. Just to become receptive to everyone and everything. Soften into receptivity. Longer, 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 longer. Longer, 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 longer. Long road. Slow down your breath, slow your roll. Give yourself another chance. Carolyn May said, healing is not fun at all because it's about forgiveness. It's terrifying because it's about forgiveness. Forgive yourself, please, for not being good enough in whatever you think. And forgive everybody else. Break your bubble again. I don't want to see the stuff build up in you. Okay to cry. Crying is an advanced spiritual practice. Every time you transcend, if you do become still, find your body again and find your life again. Don't just stay in the transcendence. Use this cycle as well, the 3 steps. And then your transcendence will be more real. Okay?